What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid, give you a quick overview of some of the data points, break it down on what is really moving it, and go over everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid is up 4.35%, so doing rather well considering the absolute sea of red right now. And so 337 the low, 362 the high. So it did bounce off of that general area that it was at that pre-market yesterday. So clearly that is a strong resistance level. I'll go over that in a second, but honestly, there's quite a lot to talk on in regards to Lucid. So starting off, Lucid is getting dragged down with the broader market because of Jolt data. So came in at 8.09 million, 7.69 million is the forecast. So it kind of shows a unwillingness from the labor market to really take these jobs. So that's exactly what Powell was somewhat concerned over. So I think the market is freaking out right now. Plus, you also had Cook yesterday saying that there is going to be large declines in the broader market due to elevated valuations. Might not necessarily be in Lucid's case, but a lot of other growth stocks have ran up a good 100+% in a short time period. So you have a lot of fear just starting to resurge. Couple of things as well though associated to Lucid. So the groundbreaking Lucid Gravity to leverage Panasonic Energy's latest generation high performance EV batteries. So this came out at 7 p.m. yesterday. Very interesting timing. That's kind of out of the norm for Lucid, but I think a lot of people are taking this out of proportion and out of context. So this is not a new partnership. I believe it was 2023 they moved from LG to Panasonic, so they've already had this pre-existing kind of agreement. They allude to how, I guess given the circumstances, they are able to do a 40% smaller battery pack compared to its competitors. So they don't say it, but Peter has been alluding to in previous fireside chats and interviews that the key to profitability is a smaller battery pack. And I think he was more meaning for the midsize, but regardless, this isn't new information. It's good information, but at the same time, it's not new. So once again, do your own due diligence at the end of the day. Couple additional things. So Saudi Bay did post this. So CES did commence. There was that keynote speech and Lucid was named. So I just wanted to quickly play this a little bit and then we'll kind of move on to some other things that is really affecting Lucid.
Just so many cool companies. Lucid and Rivian and Xiaomi and of course Volvo, just so many different companies. 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗘𝗖𝗧 is building self-driving trucks. Aurora.
So yeah, just a very quick snippet. Ultimately, talks on autonomous driving and how Lucid has that pre-existing partnership with NVIDIA for their drive chip. And so I think in general, that is very good for Lucid. And I believe on previous PRs, it stated that the Gravity was going to be the first one with this, I guess, new partnership in place. So it's so far, I haven't seen anything from Lucid itself to really show that NVIDIA is part of Gravity right now. Might be in the second variation of it, late 2025. But regardless, I think this is good for Lucid to be named. And then Lucid Oasis did post this. So better than anticipated, I guess, results coming from Germany. We've already seen a lot of pictures coming from Germany just on like full trucks full of Lucids. So ultimately 265 in 2024 compared to 32 in 2023. So quite the improvement, 728% year over year. So again, that is a fairly positive thing. Then the only other thing, I know there's quite a lot, the only other thing that has really come out, not necessarily the most positive, there was a new sell rating. More reiterated though from Adam Jonas, who has a 50% success rating, Morgan Stanley. So I think it was just long past overdue. I think his last rating was like 2 months ago, something like that. So doesn't logically make sense all that much to do a new rating prior to a company unveiling their earnings. So they just announced their earnings for February the 25th. So it doesn't make sense for an analyst to give a rating without the most up-to-date information. But you also did have a couple other ones. Cantor Fitzgerald, $3 rating. Andre Shepard, 46%. And this is why I've warned a lot of people. So there's a lot of articles that always come out saying this analyst says $4 or $5. Those are soft ratings. the actual true ratings are posted through tip ranks. So basically Andre Shepard through articles was saying $4, whereas officially they're saying $3. So not the best information. Then you had this one, 350, Stifel Nicholas, Stefan, who has a 45% success rating. So a lot of these are kind of digesting the recent numbers, but I feel like the more detailed information, like Lucid hitting their marks for 2023 is good, but the key thing that is going to really change the actual dynamic and multiple of Lucid is what they can do for 2025. So I feel like giving a rating before the actual earnings is kind of doesn't logically make that much sense. But aside from that, shorts are returning 31,000 shares, so kind of showing that today's green day is very justified. 22.62% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 269.55 million shares overall are being shorted. And then looking at the options, 878,000 in calls, 128,000 in puts. 59% of all the options being done are optimistic in nature. Of the call options, it looks like there's a consensus for it to be above 4/450. Still nothing really crazy standing out to encumber their earnings. So March 21st, that one would encumber their earnings. So not really much happening there. You see a lot of buying happening on the secondary market. So big money is definitely buying Lucid up because of the recent numbers, as well as clearly this information, like I said, is not necessarily new, but still fairly positive. With it at $3.47 though, it is right on this R1, and in reality this R2 keeps getting bounced off of, so we do know going forward that's a very strong resistance point, so that 362, and right now I guess the broader market just wants to sell off, so it is pushing it right now below this R1. So just take note of 323, 220 or 299, as well as following support levels. Aside from that, on the actual chart itself, things are still I would say pretty good. So you have that ALMA at 322, so that's going to be a key pivot as well. And then aside from that, you have that 100-day moving average, as well as that 200 right here. So that's going to act as good support. So yeah, I think in general, a little bit of consolidation is good for Lucid, but it's just, I think it's Lucid's luck. For those of you that have been in Lucid, when Lucid puts out good news, it's usually when the market's selling off. So it's just very bad timing. Nothing to do with Lucid exactly. It's just, it is what it is. Like, you have good news. If Lucid would have put their numbers out the day prior on the Friday, then yeah, the market would have went crazy high. It would have piggybacked off of Rivian. But regrettably, they just put it out more on a consolidation day. So like I said, I think that's something maybe Lucid can kind of improve on, is looking at some key data points and try to avoid certain days, if that makes sense. But nonetheless, I think Lucid, if you like Lucid and like what they've been putting out, take advantage, buy the dip, do what you need to do. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon, link in the description below and also the comments. I give buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolute bangers, so pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.